Hello everyone, welcome back to Chessboard Baseball. I am APO, and today we're going to talk about the series that just concluded between the Padres and the Dodgers, where the Dodgers were able to take 2 games in that series and go up in the standings, and they're sitting comfortable in first place in the division right now. So that is good news. It was a good series for the Dodgers. The first game they got destroyed by the Padres, but then second game they destroyed the Padres, and then the third game it was fought. They only win by 4-2. Not necessarily a pitching duel, but the Dodgers did get the hits when they needed. Pitcher King was walked about 5, I think, and then he hit Andy Pages twice. So Michael King definitely didn't do himself any favors. And then for whatever reason, I think it was that plate appearance by Freddie Freeman with the bases loaded, where King actually throws a strike. And we're going to be talking about challenges in this video and talk about that one. That one was, I was puzzled by the fact that the Padres did not challenge. And, Eric Karros, Andy Pages, we're going to get into the whole Andy Pages, does he challenge too much? But there definitely has to be some sort of challenge philosophy, some sort of challenge rule or strategy that each team has to have, right? And it seems like the Padres don't have any. The Dodgers maybe do have, but not quite either, as far as understanding when you need to challenge and when you don't. The Padres, first off, they just seem a little bit of a mess. That's what I witnessed in this series. They have plenty of players, and again, Machado. We'll get into Machado, maybe not. A little bit later. Dude's hitting 185, and OPS a bit 650, hitting cleanup. Of course, it's Manny Machado, so the fact is that the guy is going to hit cleanup, or he's going to hit somewhere in the top of the order for any team because of just reputation alone. But a lot of these players don't seem like themselves. Jackson Merrill doesn't seem like himself, and Fernando Tatis doesn't just seem like himself. And of course, Manny Machado doesn't. Something's going on with the Padres. I don't know. They're still doing okay in the season. So yes, they're 10 games behind the Dodgers, but the Dodgers do have the best record in baseball. So I don't know. The Padres record is not too bad, but they do seem like a mess. And then you have bases loaded, Freddie Freeman at the plate, and it's a tough, really tough plate appearance for Freeman and for King. And then at the end, it's ball 4 on Freeman, but if you look at the box, it says that it was a strike. They have 2 challenges, so it's not like, we wasted one, so we can't. What? That's the perfect place to challenge. It's costing a run, which pretty much this goes with Dodger broadcaster, who was also a really good player. Me growing up, I used to be an Eric Karros fan a little bit, because he seemed to be one of the only good Dodgers players back in the day. But anyways, he makes a good argument as to when to challenge and when not to, and that is a perfect place to challenge. A run is coming in, it's a tight ball game. Okay, you waste the challenge, but you could potentially save a run, which they would have done had they challenged that pitch. So it doesn't matter. Dodgers win. They take this series. So what we're going to do, we're going to talk a little bit about the challenges and the whole Andy Pages situation and what Eric Karros is trying to say, because Eric Karros just continues to, it seems like every day he, in a way, it could come off as he's attacking Andy Pages. I don't think he's attacking Andy Pages. It's just that I think Pages is making Karros get really frustrated, and especially since he keeps doing it over and over, and the Dodgers don't seem to be addressing that with Pages at all whatsoever. Or maybe they are and he's not understanding, or maybe Dave Roberts is challenge whenever you feel like it's a ball, or you didn't get the call that you wanted. And challenge the whole challenge ABS challenging system is creating some rift. It really is, like the whole Ohtani rushing situation with the challenges, the Karros Pages situation. And of course, it just creates interesting dynamics. And I think this is, a lot of baseball is decision making. When should a manager, take a pitcher out, or leave them in, or when to bunt or not to bunt, hit and run or not hit and run, steal, don't steal. And now you also include challenges, first balls and strikes in there as well. And it just makes it, I'm sure, for the players and the managers, even more complicated. But it's super entertaining as a, in the audience, as an spectator. I don't, I don't know where we take it from here with the whole challenges thing, but it's cool to kind of dive into it and explore the situation. So Andy Pajes is definitely not the most disciplined player. Now, you could say, of course, all these players know what a ball and a strike is, but Pajes probably one of the players on the Dodgers that chases the most, right? That cannot, I mean, there was a swing that he took today and a ball that was nowhere near, and he does this every game. He's just swinging a stuff that is like, what are you doing swinging at that? And it's just interesting as well when he does decide to challenge, because he doesn't take many pitches. And when he does, a lot of these are borderline. And today it happened again early in the ball game. I think it was a ball and no strikes. And then, umpire calls a strike and he decides to challenge. There's no one on base. Like, I think Karros' point is it's 1-1. There's no one on base. It's early in the ball game. Like, even if you win the challenge, like, it doesn't make that much of a difference. But then instead you challenge, you lose it. And now we without challenges, and it does alter your approach at the plate. There was a plate appearance by Freeland, and this is the guy who I wish had the whole Pajes mindset, because this is the guy who, for whatever reason, doesn't challenge. And there was another one with Freeman as well, but Freeland is the one who you're like, challenge the most. Like, there's so many times, probably every time that he comes up to the plate, you wish that he challenged some of the strikes he gets called. Today, he won a plate appearance. He had 3 balls, no strikes. And then the fourth pitch was a ball, but it's called a strike. It's like, challenge, but can he not? You have one challenge remaining thanks to Andy Pajes earlier in the ball game. And then the 5th pitch, so it's 3-1. Next pitch is another ball, but called a strike. It's like, challenge that. So now it's 3-2, altering the whole thing. So that's the problem also. When you waste a challenge in a situation that doesn't really merit the challenge, you have later plate appearances, because that Freeland, for Freeland, I believe I'm not sure if there were men on base. I can't remember if there were men on base at that point. Maybe there was, maybe there weren't. But still, Freeland being 8th or 9th in the lineup means that you can get a men on with Shohei Ohtani coming up. So you're always going to be in favor of Freeland getting on base, whatever way that he can get on base. And, he's pretty disciplined. He typically can do a good job at, laying off bad pitches. But that's just how challenging early changes things. And the other thing with Pajes is, as we speak, and I can't believe that this is now part of analytics as far as, people tracking challenges, and there's so many numbers here. But Andy Pajes has challenged 14 times and has lost 8 of them. So that's already a bad percentage. You lose more than you win, and then you challenge in situations that don't really matter. And I think that's what Karros continues to harp on. And it just seems like he's picking on Pajes for whatever reason, but it just really just keeps happening, and really early, and he loses, and now you're out of challenges, and it alters how you approach the rest of the game, and it changes things for the rest of the players later on, especially players who are more disciplined, like Freeland. Like, I would give green light to challenge whenever, to Freeland, to Freeman, those are the people who I think, those two maybe, and I think Betts has done a good job as well. Let me see. So Freeland has challenged twice. He won one, he lost one. I don't know the situation in which they challenged, but twice for Freeland seems too low for me. Like Pages 14 times, that's crazy. Freddie Freeman, I don't know why he doesn't challenge more. Freddie Freeman has only challenged twice and he's won both of them. And today he struck out on a pitch looking that was actually a ball, and he was like, do I challenge, do I not? But again, another one of those in his mind is, we have one challenge remaining, I don't want to waste it. And it was still early in the ball game when he was asked to whether challenge or not. All right, Mookie Betts has challenged 12 times, so that's still a lot, but he's won 7, lost 5, so that's not too bad for Mookie Betts. And it appears that he does it in better situations as well. But those are the 3 that I think I would say: Freeland, Freeman, and Mookie Betts. Like, challenge whenever you want. Pages, I think you have to sit down and just do a strategy and say, hey, this has to be the situation, whether, you've got 3 balls, or I don't know, or later in the inning, or there's men on base, like, for whatever reason. And this comes intuitive, right? Like, Eric Karros understands it, and I think it's more of an intuition thing with Karros, just understanding the situation, understanding the game. It's hard to explain that to someone who may not have that strong baseball intuition as far as the strategy, because you can be a great baseball player and not quite understand the strategy of the ball game as to which situations are important and which situations are not. And I think Pages struggles with that. It just seems like he struggles with the strategy, the baseball IQ part of the game. It really doesn't come naturally to him. And even I think when it comes to base running, it happens to him. When it comes to decision making at the plate, those things, he just doesn't have it. He's just a talent. I'll go, play the outfield. I got a strong arm. I can catch the ball. I can hit the ball. But the strategy piece of it, the IQ piece of baseball, I think that escapes Andy Pages for whatever reason. So is it too many challenges for Pages? Yes, absolutely. I don't think he should have the green light to challenge whenever he wants. Does that mean that he'll be more shy, or perhaps too confused to know when to challenge, so he'll stop challenging? Yeah, maybe. But maybe that's the answer. Maybe Dave Roberts doesn't want to present it that way, like you can't challenge anymore, but maybe said in a way that makes Pages like way too confused and say, okay, I just won't challenge anymore. Because I do think that the challenges that Andy Pages it's deciding to apply or to request are hurting the team in the long run, whether psychologically or whether later, tying other players as to whether or not they can challenge. So I do think that may be the answer. Just no more challenges for Andy Pages, because we have a big enough sample size now that, number one, he's not getting them correctly at a high clip, and number two, he's not quite understanding when the best moments are to challenge. Because I don't even think the problem with the ABS or with the player challenging may not be that he's getting it wrong all the time. I think it may also have something to do as to when they're deciding to do those challenges. And I guess in this situation, I do agree with Eric Karros with this whole Andy Pages situation. All right, so I did post a video on the channel earlier about the the series and the player rankings and who had the from lowest to highest Rook average for Chessboard Baseball, as I do grade every single Dodger game. I evaluate it. I go live also, so I have live streams and where I do player evaluations for the Dodgers, and then at the end of the series, I do a ranking. and provide a series MVP. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go over the numbers for each player that qualified. Some players like Rojas and Robinson only had few plate appearances, so we're not going to cover them. We're just going to cover the 9 that did have the majority of the plate appearances and rank them. So let's do that. All right, here we go. So number 9 was Alex Freeland. And again, I don't have the actual traditional stats with me as far as like the average or how many hits or home runs or extra base hits or walks Alex Freeland had. I only have the Chessboard Baseball scores for each plate appearance that he had. So here we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 plate appearances for Alex Freeland. And he's one of those players where he gets pinch hit a lot depending on the matchups for the pitching. It seems like later in the game, Dave Roberts will go to Miguel Rojas or Alex Call if Freeland faces a left-handed pitcher. And, even though Alex Freeland is a switch hitter, the numbers do show that he doesn't do that well against left-handed pitching, so he's much better from the left side of things. So Dave Roberts says, I don't care if you're hitting right-handed, I'm still going to bring Rojas. And of course, Rojas has great numbers against left-handed pitchers. So that's just the strategy. So anyways, he gets pinch hit a lot. He did have 3 really bad plate appearances this series. That's the -7, the -2, and the -5 that we see here on the chart. And the rest of the stuff is not bad. I mean, he had 836 rook average for the series. And for a series, this is not bad. This is respectable. This is where most people tend to go when they're down the middle. One thing with this series is was that most players overperformed, and most players, their numbers look really great. And especially from that second game. And of course, Freeland was the only Dodger from game 2 of this series that did not record a hit. Yeah, but Freeland had he had okay series. It wasn't, lately, it doesn't feel like when Freeland comes up to the plate, like, oh, this guy's an out. Like, you can always expect something from Freeland, whether he's going to get on base through a walk or if he's going to get a base hit. Freeland was fine this series. No one had a bad series against the Padres, offensively anyways. So, yeah, good job by Freeland, but he's number 9. Number 8 is Kyle Tucker. And it's interesting because, this is the series that we're kind of like, is Kyle Tucker back? Having those 3 hits in the second game against the Padres helped out a lot, but it still wasn't enough to overcome the other 2 games. In that first game, he had a 5, a 4, and a 9 for plate appearances. It's marginal, but that means you're not really producing anything. And outside of that 34, look at that 34. That 34 is crazy. And I have to look. I haven't really looked yet, but that might be the highest Chessboard Baseball score of the season for the Dodgers, but I have to double check. That 34 is super high. You normally don't see that at all. So that is crazy that he had that 34. But again, that was that 9-pitch 2-run home run that he hit, an incredible plate appearance. So Chessboard Baseball definitely rewarded that plate appearance in particular. But again, Tucker was okay. He wasn't too bad. He had a really good game 2. Hopefully, and then game 3 he had another single, so that's the 18 that you see there. Or actually the 11. The 11 was the single. The 18 was still the previous game. So he had a single the third game, and you're hoping that he can get it going once again. But that second game was crucial, and hopefully catapult him moving into the rest of the season. Number 7 is Shohei Ohtani. He had a solid series. He had a hit here and there. I don't remember him getting any extra base hits. It seems like they were mostly singles. I could be wrong, but I don't remember extra base hits for Ohtani. And you might think, well, these numbers look a lot better than the Tucker numbers. And yeah, they do as far as number-wise, right? You see 14, 12, 16 consistently and multiple 20s in there. The thing is, when we arrive at the rook average, so these are his queen numbers. And if we look at Tucker, these are Tucker's rook numbers. And in order to compare every player to have them on the same field, then I compare everyone as a rook. But these are Shohei Ohtani's queen numbers. So then we have to adjust it because queens, every plate appearance, according to Chessboard Baseball, every plate appearance by Ohtani is worth 9 points. Every plate appearance by Cal Tucker is worth 5 points. Plate appearance by Andy Pages, 3 points. Plate appearance by Alex Freeland is worth 1 point. So then that's just how Chessboard Baseball works, so that we can, the expectation of Shohei Ohtani when he comes up to the plate. So that plate appearance is worth a lot more than anyone else who comes up to the plate. But then in order to compare them, I have what it's called rook average, and everyone gets graded on the same tier, and that's the rook because it's in the middle. So he had 3 really bad plate appearances, and that is this 0, this -1. So -1 for a queen, it's pretty bad. Like if this was Alex Freeland, this would be a -8 or -9 plate appearance. If Ohtani was Alex Freeland. Of course, he's not. So it's -1, and then he had a 0 and a 4. But outside of that, he had some solid plate appearances with the 20s, 24, 21, 26. It was a decent series for Ohtani. He would have been over 9 with the Chessboard Baseball score rook average, but that 4 kind of brought him down and didn't get the 9. But yeah, number 7 for Shohei for this series. He was fine. Didn't really do a lot of damage. Number 6, Dalton Rushing, and he also had that nice game 3, where he hit that home run. So decent series for Dalton Rushing. I mean, really good, actually, to have a 9.75. So a really good series for Dalton Rushing as well. Max Muncy, just the model of consistency here in Chessboard Baseball. Look at all these numbers, and again, these are all rook numbers. Muncy didn't do anything crazy or out of the ordinary, but he didn't have horrendous plate appearances. Only that one that he had, but outside of that, 7, 5, 17, 4, 8, 8, 16, 11, 19, 11, and 11. He was fine. He was not chasing. He was swinging at strikes. And yeah, I think today he went 0 for 3, 0 for 3. So those 11s were flyouts, but he was hitting the ball in a hitter's count, with whether it was 2 balls, no strikes, and he's making contact, or 3 balls, 1 strike, and he's making contact. And then the 19 was the walk. So no, he did not destroy the ball, and he wasn't killing it out there, but he just remained steady and consistent. He wasn't striking out too much, and yeah, he was just solid. Of course, you want production, but as far as the process, Muncy was fine. Tommy Edman, definitely. So he's number 4 here. He definitely was hot, hitting the ball all over the place, especially also that game 3 where he was just had a double, had a triple. He was just hitting it everywhere. And Edman has just been amazing since coming back from the DL. And yeah, this series, he just continued to be on fire. Mookie Betts, same thing, right? He had a streak of 3 home runs in a row, or 3 games where he was hitting a home run. Today, he again had 2 singles. And Mookie Betts has just been hot as of late. He's doing really well. And that 1038 rook average for the series it's up there. His numbers are improving as far as batting average, his OPS, home runs. Yes, I think we were worried about him. I wasn't really, because I've been tracking him with Chessboard Baseball, and it just showed that he was just being unlucky. He was hitting the ball hard. His exit velo has been consistently high in the 90s all season long. And I knew it was just a matter of time. Sometimes you hit the ball, you hit it hard, you hit it right at defenders, or they make crazy plays. But eventually that ball is going to find some gaps if you continue to hit it that way. And even some of those times it will go over the fence. So Mookie Betts, great this series. I'm surprised to see that he didn't end up with the MVP, or at least second. But I was surprised to see who the second person is. and that is Andy Pages. And Pages had a really nice series as well. So let's take a look at what Pages did. And Pages did a lot of things that he typically doesn't do, and that is walk. So he walked a lot this game, which gained him a lot of points. The first game, he had a walk and a single. The second game, he had a single, a walk with the base to load the bases, another. So he had 2 walks, and then he had a double. In this game, he had 2 walks. So there you go. That was pretty much Pages in a nutshell. This whole series, he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 walks. That's crazy for Andy Pages. Crazy. I think coming into the game, he probably didn't even have 20 walks. And for him to have 5 in a 3-game span, that is crazy for Pages, which is good news as well, that he's not chasing too much. He's been a little bit more patient and disciplined at the plate. So yeah, Pages with an excellent series here. And we were just talking about him challenging, but he was good. He was good against the Padres. And then Freddie Freeman. Freddie Freeman was just, and he just continues to be super hot as of late for the season. I mean, his batting average went up to almost 300. So he's doing really well. So let's look. Freeman, the first game, had a walk, a double, and a double with men on base, and a single with men on base. And then the second game, he had a single, a double, ground up, productive out, which was a ground out, and then a single with runners in scoring position. And then this game, he just walked with the bases loaded. That's it for this video. The Dodgers go to San Francisco, I think tonight, but they start a 3-game series versus the Athletics tomorrow. And we'll continue to do Chessboard Baseball. I'll be live, to doing a live stream here on this channel as I do the evaluations on real time. So if interested, you can look for that. You can ask me questions as the game is going, whatever the case may be. It'd be great if you can join. But if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching the video, and I'll see you again soon.